Hi, I'm Becca and I'm addicted to media. Today I'm going to be wrapping up all the books that I got to in August and all the books I'd like to get to in September, but probably won't because that's just how we do things here. During August I did participate in 7 and 7 Readathon, and I did actually film a separate 7 and 7 Readathon wrap-up video, and then I was dying, so I didn't post that video because I didn't edit that video, but I'm just gonna insert that footage here. So Orange, the Complete Collection, Volume 2. I did not enjoy this as much as the first one, but I still thought it was really good, so I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. But I thought that it was a pretty good end to the series. It's a really interesting concept and the characters are really sweet, and I don't know why, but for manga I tend to like things that I really hate in novels. For the most part, it was like a school story, and I don't know why, but in manga, I love a good school story. Rat Queens Volume 3, Demons. I thought that this was a pretty decent volume. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I believe I gave both the first 2 volumes 5 out of 5 stars. So this for me was a little bit less enjoyable, but I think that was mostly because of what was happening and not necessarily the writing. It was just what was happening to the characters I didn't like so much. I will be really interested to see how the 4th volume goes because there was some really intense stuff that happened at the end. But yeah, it's just a really good series and I highly recommend it. A-Force War Zones. This is the 0 issue of A-Force. I'm not entirely sure if this is supposed to come before the 1st volume. If it does, this is just not a good introduction at all. I really couldn't tell what was going on. I got a vague sense of the dynamic issues between the girls in Air Force, but other than that, I don't understand where they're supposed to be. Basically, I'm a terrible comic book nerd because I didn't understand what was going on at all. It did make me want to read the next volume, so I guess it did its job, but yeah, I would have liked a bit more explanation, and I gave this 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. The Woods Volume 3, New London. If you read The Woods, but you haven't read this volume, go read it right now. There's some crazy stuff that happens in here. I don't remember what I rated the first 2 volumes, so I can't really tell you if comparatively this was better or worse. I enjoyed it a lot and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Fairy Good Lives by J.K. Rowling. This is a commencement address that J.K. Rowling gave at Harvard in, I believe, 2008. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. If you haven't read it yet and you love J.K. Rowling, I feel like this is definitely something that you should pick up. Amulet, Book 2, The Stonekeeper's Curse. This is the 2nd volume in the Amulet series. I really enjoyed this volume and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. The artwork is just as beautiful as the first volume. The storytelling just goes into so much more depth and the world just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I am just so excited to see where this goes in the next 5 volumes, and it's just a really great read. So I only finished 2 other books this month. Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This is the first book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. I liked the characters and the relationships between the characters, and I will be putting up a written review on Goodreads when I have written it. So I will be linking that down below when it is up. It wasn't my absolute favorite book ever, which was a little disappointing because I've heard incredible things about this, but I didn't feel the intense attachment that I thought I would to the story. So it's a 4 out of 5 stars. It was very good. Writing is beautiful. Definitely recommend it, but it just wasn't 100% there for me. The quote that I have for this book is, "He can't see it. It is a condition of monsters that they do not perceive themselves as such. The dragon, you know, hunkered in the village, devouring maidens, heard the townsfolk cry, 'Monster!' and looked behind him." The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I ended up giving this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I understand why everybody loves this series. I think the world is very unique and the characters are very interesting and the magic system is very, very cool, but I just didn't feel as attached to it as I felt like I should have in order for it to be a 4 or a 5-star book. And I think part of that is because the beginning of it was extremely slow reading for me. I had too much disconnect with some of the characters. Ronan especially, I felt like Ronan, I just really couldn't relate to him at all. I'm hoping as the story progresses, I will get more attached to the characters and I will find more connection there. Maggie Stiefvater's writing style in this, it was very beautiful, and so I'm going to share one quote that definitely reflects that, and that quote is, "More than anything, the journal wanted. It wanted more than it could hold, more than words could describe, more than diagrams could illustrate. Longing burst from the pages, and every frantic line, and every hectic sketch, and every dark printed definition. There was something pained and melancholy about it." I ended up picking up This Savage Song by V.E. Schwab. So I started this last night. Obviously I have not finished it. I know that it involves monsters, I know that there's no romance, I know that it's YA, and I know that it's V.E. Schwab, and I love her, so I'm down. The reason that I picked up this book to start off September with is because it's spooky season. I want to celebrate Halloween midway through August, but my boyfriend wouldn't let me put up the Halloween decorations midway through August because, I don't know, he's dead inside or something. For as far as the rest of the month goes, I am planning on reading a bunch of spookier, creepier, darker books because that's what I like to do around this time of year. I think a lot of people like to do that. I'm definitely in that camp. I'm going to be rereading A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket, aka David Handler. I'm not going to hold up all the books, obviously, so this is representative of the whole series. Stephen King's short story collection 4 Past Midnight featuring The Langoliers. The Langoliers is my favorite story by Stephen King of all time. When I was very young, I watched the made-for-TV, is it a miniseries, is it a movie? I don't know. It's been a very long time with my dad, and the concept blew my little mind when I watched it. And so, of course, I had to get a copy of the short story, and I read it. I've read it many times, but I've actually only really read the short story, The Langoliers, from this collection. It's about time that I read some of his other short stories in here. The ABC Murders by Agatha Christie. I love Agatha Christie. I don't remember which of her books I have read except for And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. It has another not as PC name that it goes by as well. I read it, I think, towards the end of high school, and it was one of the first like true mysteries, not just a kid's mystery, not like a middle grade mystery that I've ever read, and it really got me into reading the mystery genre. I've read a bunch of mysteries since then, and this has always stuck with me. I read a bunch of hers in one long spiel right after I read And Then There Were None 10 years ago. So this may be a reread, I have no idea, but I'm excited to pick it up. Welcome to Night Vale by Jeffrey Fink and Joseph Cranor. I might have put a D in there when didn't need to be a D. This podcast kind of started and blew up around 2012. I listened to the first episode, and much like many of the people around me at the time was like, what the heck is this? I knew that I would like it if I continued, but at the time I was going through my last few years of college. There was a lot of stuff going on. I didn't have time to really get into something I knew was going to take up a lot of my time over time, and then I put it off after I graduated from college because there were 2 years of podcasts in my way of getting caught up. I saw this on the shelf, got really excited because I was like, hey, a book. I like books. I once listened to the first podcast of this series and was really intrigued and excited about it. I should get that book. So I have it now. I'm planning on getting through as much of the podcast as possible, and then I want to read this book. So hopefully I can actually get through the podcast in not a million hours. So that is all the books that I would like to get to this month. I know it's kind of a lot of mystery novels or things that have like some sort of aspect of mystery to them. I'm really, really excited to get into the mystery genre again. So what I would like to know in the comments down below is, Do you like mystery books? And if so, what is your favorite mystery book or series? If you like this video and you want to see others like it, you can stick around to the end of the video and click on some of my links. Also, if you like this video, you can let me know by comment, subscribing, or giving me a thumbs up. And I hope you're having a really great day. Okay, bye. There is construction going on in one of the apartments that is near my apartment. And so if you hear like really weird noises, that's what's happening. You can look forward to a Stranger Things video. Yeah, that's happening. That's happening. You can also look forward to my Ace Attorney video that I promised a million years ago. One thing I did is I finished the last Ace Attorney game, which is great because the next Ace Attorney game comes out in like a few days. I'll probably have a book haul up soon. I don't know. I don't know my life. It's all just kind of up in the air. So stick around, guys.